What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a super exciting Liverpool transfer news video because it has been revealed late yesterday night that Liverpool and Newcastle officials met to improve the relations between the clubs after the Hugo Ekitike incident where Newcastle bid for Ekitike and then Liverpool bid for Ekitike as well, while telling Newcastle that if you don't accept our offer for Alex and Isak, we will sign Hugo Ekitike. And Ekitike is flying to Liverpool, to England today, and I think he already landed in Liverpool and he's doing his medical, so the official announcement for Ekitike to Liverpool will be probably tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But what is the very exciting news is that Liverpool informed Newcastle that they are willing to pay £135 million for Alexander Isak, which also includes add-ons which are achievable, very achievable. Liverpool also offered Harvey Elliott to Newcastle at a 5% discount on a separate deal with Newcastle United. Liverpool wants to get this Isak deal over the line because Hugo Ekitike is basically the Diogo Jota replacement. It's a tragedy that Jota is no longer with us, but Liverpool have to replace him long term, and I dedicate this video to the memory of Diogo Jota. Forever Liverpool's number 20. You will never walk alone, Diogo. So Newcastle have meeting planned with Alexander Isak and his agent today to discuss all the options. Liverpool are waiting on Newcastle if their bids will be accepted. So it looks like Liverpool are putting verbal offers towards Newcastle for Alexander Isak, and I think with add-ons this £135 million is awfully close to what Newcastle United would accept for Alexander Isak. And an official transfer request of course would change everything, because Alexander Isak is probably thinking about it. So today's meeting between Isak and Newcastle is absolutely key on what will happen. So we will break down everything, all the latest news, but everyone needs to understand that Newcastle United is primarily owned by an investment group led by the PIF, the Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and they have a reputation and they have pride to protect around the world. And these guys are very proud people in Saudi Arabia who sometimes not always make the most rational decisions, and they certainly wouldn't want to be seen being power played by Americans from the USA to the world. So today's meeting between Liverpool and Newcastle Chiefs was to calm everything down, and everyone needs to do what's best for Alexander Isak and not let these football politics get in the way. But basically the biggest news is that Alexander Isak requested a £300,000 per week contract at Newcastle, and that was not supposed to be leaked to the public, and the leak didn't come from Alexander Isak's advisors. Probably Newcastle are trying to paint Alexander Isak in a bad light, so in case Alexander Isak leaves, Newcastle can blame the player and not themselves for losing their best player. So this leak, and this is coming from Newcastle, this leak makes Alexander Isak look greedy and demanding. The big question is, who leaked it? Was it Newcastle themselves, or was it Alexander Isak's family, or maybe one of his best friends who he told? It's only Alexander Isak and his close circle, the agent and the representatives of Alexander Isak know. Who else knew about this £300,000 per week contract request? And this is the direct consequence of Newcastle telling the world that we value Alexander Isak at 150 to 200 million pounds. If you are saying Alexander Isak is worth like one of the best strikers in the world, you need to pay him like one of the best strikers in the world, and that is to pay him £300,000 per week. So this is probably valid that Alexander Isak is asking for this amount, but it also could be Newcastle setting the stage for making Alexander Isak look bad in front of the fans, and that is very interesting. And Alexander Isak's agent spoke to a Saudi Arabian newspaper, Dia, and he said, "We are studying and analyzing our options, and we may be close to finalizing the next step for the player without revealing any details of the transfer." So Isak either comes to Liverpool or goes to Saudi Arabia. I can't see him staying at Newcastle, not after what his agent said, also after Eddie Howe sent Alexander Isak home from pre-season. That was very strange. Why would you send a player home who is your best player, just before a preseason friendly, unless the player's head is turned and unless the player wants to leave. So Alexander Isak was always Liverpool's number one striker transfer target to replace Darwin Núñez this summer, and that has been a known story for a while. These initial rumors of Hugo Ekitike always found lined up as Diogo Jota's long-term successor. Even some close to Ekitike suggested that he would stay at Frankfurt for one more season if he had to wait for a Liverpool move. And if Jota would still be with us, this is very painful and hard and emotional to talk about. But if Jota would have been with the Liverpool, we probably don't sign Ekitike. We probably keep Jota for another season and we go with Isak and Jota for next season. Losing Diogo Jota is of course bigger than football, but it has forced Liverpool to pull next summer's plan maybe forward 1 year and to replace maybe both of our strikers. Ekitike and Alexander Isak could be a perfect striker partnership for the Liverpool to go forward with. You can't lose somebody of that value and quality of Diogo Jota and not bring a replacement in. Probably Luis Diaz potentially moving to Bayern Munich is separate, and that's where Rodrigo or Fofana, the Belgian winger at Lyon, comes into the picture, or maybe Anthony Gordon as well. And Chiesa is possibly leaving. Maybe Jadon Dance goes out on loan. Ben Doak is getting interest. Harvey Elliott, Tyler Morton. So this Liverpool's reshuffle makes more sense when you think how many players are about to leave, and the picture gets clearer around Liverpool. This is a painful rebuild to start so early because of Diogo Jota's tragic accident, but this is under the worst circumstances, but Liverpool have to move forward. And also on the Alexander Isak news, Eddie Howe said 3 days ago, we can't, and we aren't the biggest payers in the league because we don't generate the most income, so we can't give the likes of Alexander Isak the absolute top contract. We have to fall in line with PSR, and we have to be very smart with what we do. We have to control the wages of the players we have. So if Eddie Howe says this 3 days ago, what message does that send to Alexander Isak? We have to control the wages of the players we have. That is basically an open admission by Eddie Howe that Newcastle can't pay the wages that Alexander Isak is looking for. He is looking for wages that he would earn at Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal. And today the news came that Alexander Isak demands £300,000 per week to stay at Newcastle, because Alexander Isak knows that he can earn that at Saudi Arabia, at any club where he goes to. He can earn that at Liverpool. So it looks like Alexander Isak or his representatives are pushing for the move. And this wouldn't happen without the approval of Alexander Isak. And I think if Liverpool sell all these players that I mentioned just now, Liverpool can more than afford Alexander Isak and his salary. Maybe then we don't sign a Rodrigo as well, because that would be just like crazy, wouldn't even cover it. It would be absolutely insane if in one summer transfer window we signed Kerkez, Frimpong, Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak and Rodrigo. What is that? 500 million pounds? We are already at 260, 270 million pounds with bonuses and add-ons included. So the tone is changing around this. Does it feel like, to you guys, that Newcastle are getting stories out there to make it look like Alexander Isak is the problem? Alexander Isak is the issue. He is greedy and he wants this £300,000 per week contract, which I think he's perfectly entitled to ask for that, even though Newcastle can't pay that contract, because then you have to improve everybody's contract, and they definitely cannot approve that or cannot pay that. But he is one of the best strikers in the Premier League and one of the best strikers in the world, so he is entitled to ask for a wage that represents that reflects his true value in the transfer market. Even the Eddie Howe comments blaming speculation getting to Alexander Isak, that felt unusual, that felt odd, that felt really interesting. So the tone is changing. Maybe Newcastle are making Alexander Isak look like the bad guy, so they can sell him for 130, 135 million. And so far, you have to admit, every leak that got out from Newcastle favors Newcastle instead of Alexander Isak. Because if they are selling him this summer, they can say, we tried to extend Alexander Isak's contract, but he asked for too much money. He asked for £300,000 per week, and it's clear we can't pay that. We wanted to sell to Saudi Arabia, but he refused that. So we have to sell to Liverpool. So the narratives are already shaping. And sooner or later, a decision has to be made, because in the second game week, Newcastle will play Liverpool. What a feisty affair that will be, especially after this summer's transfer sagas. So either Newcastle have to give him the money that he wants, either they have to give him a big new contract, or they have to sell him and reinvest into the squad. If you can pay 135 million pounds, I think Newcastle would accept that. At least the English side of Newcastle, because there is a Saudi side who don't really want to sell to a rival Liverpool and who would prefer Alexander Isak if he moved to Saudi Arabia. Remember, the biggest motivation for Saudi Arabia is to improve their image and their league. And yes, they are improving their image and they are sports washing their image through Newcastle as well. But their main motivation and the most money that they are investing in is in their own league, the Saudi league. They want to make that the best league in the world, or one of the best leagues in the world. And I'm not too bothered about Alexander Isak asking for £300,000 per week. I think Liverpool can pay that. Maybe Florian Wirtz would be a little bit unhappy that he's earning only £250,000 per week, but we can improve Florian Wirtz's contract in 1 or 2 years, no problem. But if Newcastle feel like they can pay that and they will pay that, then good luck to them. But that will cause major issues, because Newcastle will absolutely destroy their wage structure if they give Alexander Isak £300,000 per week. That's I think more than double what he's on right now. At Liverpool, that headline number would drop fast. They would work their usual magic at Liverpool with the lower basic wage, bigger incentives, bigger bonuses. And if you perform and if you win with Liverpool, if you score goals, then you will get even more than maybe £300,000 per week. And let's face it, those bonuses for trophies and medals are far more realistic at Liverpool and in this squad than maybe in previous years. So much better odds of cashing in when you are actually lifting silverware, winning trophies. And also, if you are Alexander Isak, if you get your dream move to Liverpool, you would probably accept a little bit less in wages at Liverpool than what you would earn at Newcastle. Because at Newcastle, you would expect them to pay over the odds for you to stay. But if you leave and if you go to Liverpool, you have a great chance of winning the Premier League, the Champions League, the League Cup, the FA Cup. In the next 5 years, how many of those trophies would Isak win at Liverpool, and how many would he win at Newcastle? Newcastle fans also, if you are angry, this happened to us. We offered Trent Alexander-Arnold more money than what he's earning at Real Madrid right now, and he still refused the contract and he left. And I'm not wishing him good luck at Real Madrid. I hope he never wins another trophy at Real Madrid. But this happened to Liverpool. So football hierarchy is brutal. And this transfer window has been a humbling experience and a learning experience for Newcastle. You would thought that getting Champions League football and ending a long trophy drought would have made them more attractive to players, but they missed out on João Pedro, Cunha, James Trafford, Mark Gay, Brian Mbeumo, Liam Delap, and now Hugo Ekitike. And imagine if Alexander Isak leaves, then maybe the likes of Livramento, Isak, Tonali, Bruno, these players, they could leave as well. And the problem is, even if Newcastle get a lot of money for selling Alexander Isak, would they attract players? Would they be able to sign players that are value for money replacements? And these Alexander Isak links are alive and kicking, and they are flourishing. They are not getting shut down. If there was no truth in Liverpool getting Alexander Isak or being in the conversation, if there was no chance, then the Liverpool journalists already would have shut down the rumor. Alexander Isak could have come out and said a statement that I'm happy at Newcastle, I'm staying. But none of that have occurred. And these secret meetings between Liverpool and Newcastle officials and between Alexander Isak's agent and Saudi clubs, this means that there is still a lot in this story, and I will keep covering it for you guys because this is a fascinating start transfer story, and I'm sure that you guys are very interested in it. And the big question is there kind of a civil war brewing inside Newcastle, where the English side, who are frustrated with the lack of signings, they are happy for Isak to leave to fund a big spending summer, and the Saudi side of Newcastle view Alexander Isak as an untouchable asset, as a player that should not be sold under any circumstances. But Newcastle clearly wanted to sign a lot of players and they couldn't. They still can't. So they need more money and they need to sell some of their players. And Eddie Howe is pretty open about talking about his players' careers and about, he understands where Alexander Isak stands. That the footballer's life, a footballer's career is short. He wants to play at the highest level. He wants to play for the biggest clubs in the world. And also, these links to Al Hilal are very useful for Newcastle if you think about it, because that increases the price of Alexander Isak. If there are multiple clubs interested in Isak, then Newcastle could say to Liverpool, bid more, because Al Hilal is there and they are also bidding for Alexander Isak. So it's a fascinating transfer story, and I will keep covering it for you guys. And there are still more to come with Luis Diaz, Chiesa, Harvey Elliott, Tyler Morton, Ben Doak, and all the other Liverpool players, fringe players who are linked with moves away. There is a lot of movement to happen, and Liverpool are absolutely meaning business in this transfer window. So I'm really excited and here for it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.